More than 120,000 people of Japanese ancestry become threats. 2/3 of them are American citizens. Children born in California. Farmers in Washington. Shop owners in Oregon. Students' mothers' grandparents. They wake up in their own beds. By nightfall, they are marked. Not by crime, not by evidence. By ancestry. The shift does not feel dramatic at first. There is no siren. No explosion. Just paper. Notices appear on wooden poles and storefront windows along the West Coast after the bombing of attack on Pearl Harbor. The language is polite. All persons of Japanese ancestry. The words do not tremble. They do not explain. They instruct. Report to a civil control station. Bring bedding. Bring toiletries. Bring what you can carry. Everything else stays behind. In Los Angeles, a grocer stands in his empty shop longer than usual. He touches the counter he built himself. He does not argue when a stranger offers him almost nothing for the business. He knows he does not have time to negotiate. In Washington state, a strawberry farmer watches fruit rot in the fields. He had planned to harvest next week. There will be no next week here. In Oregon, a high school senior removes her yearbook from her bag and decides it is too heavy. She leaves it on the kitchen table. She assumes she will return for it. She will not. President Franklin D. Roosevelt signs Executive Order 9066. The document does not mention Japanese Americans directly. It speaks of military areas, of security of necessity, but enforcement is precise. Entire neighborhoods empty. German Americans are not loaded onto buses en masse. Italian fishermen are not marched inland by soldiers. Only families with Japanese faces are told to leave. Citizenship does not shield them. Military service does not shield them. Being born on American soil does not shield them. Ancestry outweighs all of it. The first stop is temporary. Assembly centers. Places not built for living. At Santa Anita Park, horses have just been moved. Families are moved in. The smell lingers in the wood beams. Manure stains remain beneath hastily spread straw. Children sleep where animals stood days before. A mother hangs a sheet for privacy. It barely covers the opening. Outside, armed guards patrol. Rifles visible. Searchlights sweep lazily at night. No one explains what law has been broken, because none has. Trains arrive without ceremony. Windows are covered. The journey inland stretches through mountains and desert. No one is told exactly where they are going. When they step off, wind hits first. Dust follows. Barbed wire outlines the horizon. This is Manzanar, or Heart Mountain, or Topaz. 10 camps scattered across remote landscapes, far from the coasts, far from scrutiny. The barracks are thin. Wooden planks with gaps wide enough for wind to whistle through. Coal stoves struggle in winter. In summer, heat swells inside the walls. Communal latrines offer no doors. Teenage girls learn to look at the ceiling while bathing. Grandmothers stop speaking during meal lines. Meals are served in mess halls. Families no longer eat together. Children drift toward friends. Parents lose the quiet authority of providing. The state feeds them now. The state houses them. The state decides when lights go out. Dignity erodes slowly. Not with violence. With routine. General John L. DeWitt insists the removal is justified. He argues that the absence of sabotage proves nothing. He argues that loyalty cannot be measured. He says ancestry itself is suspicious. The logic holds in Washington. It holds in the courts. When Fred Korematsu refuses to comply, he is arrested. His case reaches the Supreme Court. Korematsu versus United States. The ruling sides with the government. Military necessity outweighs individual rights. The Constitution bends quietly. Inside the camps, nothing changes. The fences remain. Life reorganizes itself inside confinement. Teachers create classrooms from scrap lumber. Baseball games are played in dust fields framed by guard towers. Weddings happen in borrowed dresses. Funerals happen without extended family. Some detainees plant gardens, coaxing life from desert soil. It is an act of resistance disguised as routine. Children grow up behind barbed wire. They recite the Pledge of Allegiance every morning. They face a flag. Behind them, a soldier stands in a tower. A loyalty questionnaire circulates. Two questions fracture families. Will you swear allegiance to the United States? Will you forswear loyalty to the Emperor of Japan? For the Issei, the first-generation immigrants barred from U.S. citizenship by law, the wording is a trap. They were never allowed to become Americans. Now they are asked to renounce the only citizenship they legally possess. Answer yes, and risk statelessness. Answer no, and risk being labeled disloyal. Those who answer no are sent to Tule Lake. Tule Lake becomes harsher. More guards, more suspicion. Barbed wire outside. Division inside. Meanwhile, young men volunteer to fight. The 442nd Regimental Combat Team deploys to Europe. They fight in brutal terrain. They suffer heavy casualties. They rescue trapped American soldiers. They become one of the most decorated units in U.S. military history. Medals are pinned onto uniforms overseas. Their parents remain confined at home. Loyalty proven in blood does not unlock the gates. Years pass. Dust storms at Manzanar. Blizzards at Hart Mountain. Silence settles into families. Some stop discussing the future. Some stop planning at all. Depression spreads quietly. Suicides occur. They are rarely mentioned publicly. Endurance becomes survival. Eventually, the war shifts. The camps begin to close. There is no apology at the gate. Each person receives a small payment and a train ticket. They leave carrying worn suitcases. They return to neighborhoods that have changed. Homes sold. Shops occupied. Farms stripped. Some neighbors welcome them. Others do not. Signs appear in windows. They rebuild anyway from nothing. Again. Decades later, investigations reveal that intelligence reports at the time had found no evidence of widespread sabotage. Warnings were ignored. Fear carried more weight than facts. President Ronald Reagan signs the Civil Liberties Act. An apology is issued. Compensation is offered to survivors. Many have already died. The apology arrives long after the fences have rested. In later years, the Supreme Court formally distances itself from the Korematsu ruling. The legal stain is acknowledged. The past remains unchanged. The strawberry fields were eventually replanted by someone else. The grocery counters were rebuilt by new owners. The yearbook left on the kitchen table gathered dust for years before the house changed hands. The dog that barked that morning eventually stopped waiting by the door. The children grew old. Some spoke about the camps. Many did not, because sometimes survival requires silence. And sometimes a nation does not need evidence to cage its own citizens. It only needs fear. The fences came down. The watchtowers were dismantled. The desert swallowed the footprints. But the precedent stayed. Because once a country decides ancestry is enough, it never fully forgets how to do it again.